Welcome, people. This channel is all about traveling. I travel a lot, probably more than 99% of everybody in the world. I travel more than they have. And now, I'm not a budget traveler. I am a traveler. So some things I'm going to pay a little bit more for, but if I want it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it without thinking about the cost. Now, some things I'm not just going to throw money away at them. But when I talk about traveling, I talk about points, cities, locations, places I ate at. I'm going to give you the real price and how I got there, because I don't want you sitting there thinking that it's going to be cheap or it's going to be expensive when I know for a fact that's not the case at all. So with me, you're going to get the real deal. And every picture and every drone shot I show you, I took myself. None of this has been photoshopped. None of this came from the internet. Nope, nope, nope. It's me. So I'm saying that because I am a retiree. And I call myself the old school traveler because I go by planes, trains, automobiles, cruise ships, driving. It don't really matter to me. If I want to get there, I'm going to find a way to get there. And so a lot of newer people, or younger people as you may want to call them, they do things a certain way all the time. I do not. So that's why I'm the old school traveler. I'll find a way to get there if I want to get there. So saying that, let's talk about the first city on my hit list. And this is one of my favorite cities, but not the favorite. That's going to be in a different episode. But this is one of my favorite ones, though, Atlanta. Atlanta gets a bad reputation because Atlanta deserves it. Now, I'm going to tell you the good and the bad about everything, what it costs. Now, I go to Atlanta quite a bit for work. I also go quite a bit for personal vacation, not to Atlanta itself as much, but I tend to find myself having some time off where I can take a day or two out and I can go see Atlanta. But also I go on personal vacation. I go to the bowl game. The Celebration Bowl is the bowl game between the two HBCUs who has the best record between the MEAC and the SWAC every year. I go every year. Now I say that because Atlanta got a lot of good things about it and a lot of bad things about it. But let me be upfront with you, on every city in the world, there's a good side and a bad side. If you work hard enough, you'll find the bad side. And if you work hard enough, you'll find the good side. Atlanta is one of those cities. Yeah. Now, my frustration with Atlanta is the food. Atlanta is not a city for food or foodies. It's not that kind of city. Can it be? Hell yeah. Atlanta can be. Atlanta is in the middle of the South. There is no reason Atlanta don't have better food. But I can tell you why they don't. They don't have better food because everybody in Atlanta want to cook something other than Southern food. Well, let me give you news, Atlanta. You're in the South. Southern has the word South in it. So my whole point to Atlanta, cook what you're good at. Cook what you know. But now, as far as seeing the city, Atlanta got a pretty skyline. It has a pretty skyline. And I got some drone shots that I'm going to show you. But Atlanta actually is a pretty city. But downtown is just a mess. There's no streets that go north and south or east and west. Maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 streets. Atlanta got a lot of streets that go at angles. And that's one of those kind of cities that I just don't like. Because, when you go at angles, you never feel like you're going the right direction. You never feel that way. Now, the people in Atlanta, you got a lot of gays. Got to tell you about it. Lots of gays. And a lot of people down there are going to fake like they're not, and they are. Yeah. But Atlanta also got restaurants that are way overpriced. It's kind of sad when you can work in a restaurant and you don't make enough money in one day to buy yourself a meal from that restaurant. I was in Atlanta and I spent $100 on a steak. It was a steak and a couple sides and a drink. That still is a lot of money considering what the wages are in Atlanta. Now, I'm from the DC, Baltimore area. Wages are very high. But everybody makes enough to buy a meal where they work at. And the housing costs. Atlanta housing, I think, is fairly cheap. $400,000 can get you a nice house in Atlanta. And maybe out in the suburbs, you may have to go a little further. But even in the city, you can get a nice house. But I'm going to tell you, though, so Atlanta housing is reasonable, but the traffic is as bad as the traffic in DC, Baltimore. you don't move. And God forbid you get on the ring road or the not roundabout, but the beltway. Their beltway is one of the worst ones I ever seen in my life. I mean, it's just a flat out mess, you know. And I was there one time when it snowed. When it snowed, the entire state stops. The entire state stops. I say that because Atlanta don't get snow very often, and so they're not equipped for snow. They're not equipped for it at all. But as far as some of the suburbs and stuff, you know, Atlanta has some nice suburbs. They have some nice suburbs, and Atlanta actually is a good place to live at because of the weather. And like I said, you get snow once a decade. It's not like every day or every winter. You might go 10 years without seeing, 20 years without seeing snow. But the people in Atlanta, a lot of them are pretentious. You can tell by how they dress. They wear a lot of name brand stuff. And see, that's not me. I buy things that has the functionality. If that clothing or car or whatever cannot provide the function I need, I don't buy it. No, I just don't buy it. So I'm saying that because, you know, you look at the jobs they have. Everybody wants to be a video star. Everybody wants to be this kind of star or influencer or whatever have you. And you look at them, they shouldn't even try that. There's a reason why a lot of those shows, like the Housewives of Atlanta, Hip Hop Atlanta, is the reason why they're all filmed in Atlanta. It's cheaper. So when you say it's cheaper, not just the city itself, but the people are not making the wages that the people make wages in LA and New York and Boston and other cities. So don't pretend you're somebody you're not. And everybody in Atlanta likes to dress up all the time for no reason at all. I guess they think they're going to get a 2-minute video shoot. But Atlanta is a pretty city when you are shooting a video or a drone shot from a distance, because Atlanta has a lot of good big businesses, but the people that you're seeing daily aren't working in those businesses. No, not at all. The people you're seeing every day are sitting there pretending and faking it. But there's a lot of things to do in Atlanta. Now, Atlanta got a bad side of it that, you know what? Every city got a bad side. Every city got a good side. I'm going to tell you about both no matter where I go, because I'm not going to pretend like there's no bad side to any city like a lot of people who on YouTube do. That's not me. If you make the wrong turn in the South Side, woo, watch out. Watch out. You might be in a neighborhood that you didn't even know existed. That's easy to do in any big city. You know, DC got the Southeast, Baltimore got the whole damn city. Well, the north part's not as bad as the rest of it. But my whole point is, Atlanta can be much more than what it is. Now, a lot of these cities, as far as crime goes, Atlanta is really no different than any other big city. You're going to have it, get over it. You don't want to have it, don't go. But as far as having fun, Atlanta's a fun city, because Atlanta got something going on every single weekend, like any big city. There's something going on every single weekend. And you know what? You would enjoy yourself. And you don't hear about mass shootings in Atlanta very, very often. Like I said, I hear about that in other cities or other states, but not in Atlanta though. One thing about Atlanta I do like, traffic actually moves in the city. Outside the city, hell no. And people seems to have a lot of cars with dents in them. I did notice that. They got a lot of dents. But you got things like the aquarium. The aquarium is world class in Atlanta. That's one of the biggest features that they have. That's one of the best things they have. And you know what? It's cheap. I go to the zoo for $40 in DC. Atlanta, I can go to the aquarium for like $25. Atlanta got some things. They got Six Flags over Georgia, which is not far. That's a nice place to be at on a Sunday during the summer. That's a nice place to be at. So Atlanta got all these things here. And, they got every sports team in America if you love sports. and you're not far from being outdoors to do your outdoor activity. No, you can drive an hour away, toward Huntsville or toward Conyers, Georgia, and you got a hell of an outdoor life. Now, Atlanta itself, it has some ghetto thinking behind some of the decisions they make, and that comes from the politicians, which I stay out of that arena. But Atlanta itself, I don't see anything to tell me not to live here. I don't see anything in Atlanta that says, don't come to my city, don't live here. Atlanta is actually an international city, believe it or not. I didn't believe it. And here's the kick of it all. I used to live near Atlanta during my college days. But Atlanta had all these activities going on, a lot of things going on, and they got the world's biggest airport. So you can go anywhere from Atlanta to the rest of the world, not just the U.S., to the rest of the world, almost direct. And like I said, like I was saying, Atlanta got a lot of good things about it. A lot of good things about it. But it got some things that Atlanta just got to realize. You are Atlanta. You're not New York. You're not L.A. Now, I stay at Hilton hotels when I go to Atlanta. Normally, 99% of the time, I stay at an Embassy Suites. Now, on average, it costs about $200 a night. Like I said, on average, I've been winter, summer, fall, and spring. And I normally spend about $100, $125 a night on food. That's just me. Now, when I take the wife, we spend around $200 because we don't cut back when we travel on food in other cities or other countries. We just don't cut back. We like to enjoy ourselves. And if we can't afford to go, we just don't go. Simple. And now, sometimes when I go out with friends who travel with me to a bowl game or football game or something like that, my cost goes up. It goes up because we have a good time. We're all about having a good time when we travel. Now, saying that, Atlanta got some barbecue places that every city I go to, I try out barbecue. I also try out steak. And there are times when I'll eat something a lot cheaper. Not very often, but there are times. I like to try local food. I never get chain restaurants when I travel. And Atlanta is no different than any other place. So, saying that, Atlanta got some hole in the walls that are great, but most of them are in the south part of the city, like College Park and other places. Downtown, you're going to just have upscale food. And see, I'm not a guy who cares about the ambience. I care about the quality, the taste, and am I going to be full when I leave? Atlanta, I have never felt full when I leave, when I have left the restaurant downtown. Now, I feel more than full when I go to those shacks. And the shacks cost you like $25. Sometimes even less than that. Downtown is going to cost you, perfect example, a filet mignon. It's going to cost you probably about $80. And they got places that you should not eat at. And the places that you should not eat at are in the hotels. Because some of the hotels charge you a lot of money. And you're paying for the presentation, not for the food. So it's a huge difference between what you see on a menu and what you get served to you. But the price you see on the menu is what you're going to pay no matter what is served to you. So those are things that you have to be careful in Atlanta. And like I said, I like Atlanta because they got nice parks. They do got nice parks, but they're not nice as some of the other bigger city parks. I've been to Piedmont many, many, many times. I've been to a lot of their so-called parks to go to. And now, the one good thing about Atlanta I do like, you don't pay crazy prices for parking. No, Atlanta, you're going to spend $25 to $40 a day for parking. And, that's a very good price when you compare it to some of the other cities I've been to. So, in Atlanta, you're not going to pay a lot to park, and you can even park on the streets. Not many of them downtown. You just got to get there early in the morning. But they got little parking garages or little parking places all over Atlanta. It's not like New Orleans where you're paying a couple bucks an hour. No. So Atlanta is one of those places that you should go to because it's a jumping off point to any place in the world. That's the one thing I do like about Atlanta. you can jump off from Atlanta to any place you want to go in the world. And normally, you gotta take Delta. If you're not a Delta fan, you're in trouble. You gotta take Delta. Flying into Atlanta from where I live in the DC area, it's really, really cheap. It's like about $300 round trip. $300 round trip, maybe 100 and a quarter for food per night, and the hotel runs you around $200 a night. So that's what the cost is for Atlanta. Now, Atlanta actually is one of the cheaper places to go to. And like I said, you can go see the aquarium, Six Flags. You can see a whole lot of things in Atlanta, and you can't go wrong. Now, Atlanta parks are not as pretty as Chicago's parks, but I don't think any city is. And Chicago got a lot of things to look at. Atlanta got some museums, but a lot of them got something to do with slavery and other places, that I really don't care about, because I've been to the National Black Museum in Memphis, Tennessee, where Dr. Martin Luther King, got killed at. So when you go to Atlanta, think about the fun you're gonna have. But like I said, I am not a nightclub person or a strip joint person. I've been to none of those, so I can't tell you what those are like and what those cost. I just can't even imagine going to one of those, because that's where a lot of bad things go wrong at. When you're out there doing things that maybe you should not do. But I know a lot of people like strip clubs in the South. It's always baffled me about the South. You go to a bar, a strip club on Saturday night, and the next day they're all in church because it is in the Bible Belt. Kind of weird. I've never done that, but I know people who have done that, and they enjoy themselves. I don't know how you paying somebody for a dream is enjoyable. No, it's not how it works for me. So, saying that, this episode is all about Atlanta. If you got no problems, going down south, and like I said, I've never had a problem with the police or anybody like that in my entire life, to be honest about it. But I've never had a problem. But like I said, I know people who really, really enjoy those kind of places, but never had a problem. Easy to get around if you're in the city. If you're in the Beltway, that's a different ball game. But this is Leon, and I'm the old school traveler. The old school traveler is going to tell you what it costs, what it's like, the good and the bad. I'm going to keep it real, and everything you see is from me. Peace out, old school traveler.